Someone asks if you liked the gift, and you say yes, even though you didn't need to say anything at all. Someone asks how your weekend was, and you invent a detail that never happened, just to make the story land better. No stakes. No threat. Nothing on the line. And yet, a lie slips out anyway. If lying were purely about self-preservation, this wouldn't happen. So why does it? We like to think of lying as a last resort, something people do when they're cornered, when the truth would cost them a job, a relationship, their freedom. That's the story we tell ourselves about lying, that it's rare and it's desperate. But researchers who study deception have found something stranger. In everyday conversation, people lie constantly, and most of those lies aren't protecting anyone from anything. Psychologist Bella DePaulo's diary studies had participants track every lie they told over a week. The result: most people lied at least once a day, and the overwhelming majority of those lies were small, low stakes, and, critically, avoidable. The person could have just told the truth. Nothing bad would have happened. So if lying isn't mainly about avoiding disaster, what's it actually doing? Here's the uncomfortable answer. A lot of lying isn't about deception at all. It's about connection. Think about the compliment you didn't mean, the "I'm fine" you gave when you weren't, the enthusiasm you faked for a friend's new haircut. These are what researchers call prosocial lies, lies told not to gain an advantage, but to smooth a social interaction, protect someone's feelings, or simply keep things pleasant. Humans are an intensely social species. Our survival, historically, depended on being liked, trusted, and included in the group. Small lies often act like social lubricant. They reduce friction, avoid unnecessary conflict, and let interactions move forward without constant, exhausting honesty audits. In this light, an unnecessary lie isn't really unnecessary. It's doing quiet relational work. Then there's a second category, lies that have nothing to do with other people's feelings and everything to do with our own image. You didn't need to say you'd already seen the movie. You didn't need to claim you used to play an instrument. But some part of you wanted to be seen a certain way, more cultured, more interesting, more competent, in that specific moment. This is identity management lying, and it's less about the listener and more about the story you're telling yourself about who you are. Psychologically, this connects to something deeper. Humans don't just present a self to other people, they perform a self to themselves. Small exaggerations and inventions can be a way of trying on a slightly better version of your own narrative in real time without even fully registering it as dishonest. There's also a simpler, more mechanical explanation. Lying is often just easier than the alternative. Telling the truth sometimes requires a longer explanation, an awkward pause, or a conversation you don't feel like having. A quick, harmless lie can shortcut all of that. Researchers who study the cognitive side of deception have noted that small lies frequently get told because they reduce short-term social effort, not because the person calculated any real benefit. It's less a decision and more a reflex, the same way you might step around a puddle without thinking about it. And once that reflex is exercised regularly, something else happens. It gets easier. Brain imaging research on repeated dishonesty has found that small lies tend to blunt the emotional discomfort, the flicker of guilt, that usually accompanies deception. The first lie can feel uncomfortable. The 10th version of that same small lie barely registers at all. So, what's actually going on? Put it together, and unnecessary lying starts to look less like a character flaw and more like a set of overlapping human habits. Social lubrication, keeping interactions smooth and conflict-free. Image management, shaping how we're perceived, even in small ways. Cognitive ease, avoiding the effort of a fuller, messier truth. Habituation, the more we do it, the less it costs us emotionally. None of this excuses the lies that genuinely hurt people. But it does reframe the small, pointless-seeming ones. They're rarely about deceiving anyone in a meaningful sense. They're about navigating a social world that rewards smoothness, likability, and a good story, sometimes more than it rewards precise accuracy. So next time you catch yourself telling a lie that didn't need to happen, ask what it was actually doing. Chances are it wasn't protecting you from anything. It was just easier, or kinder, or a little more interesting than the truth. Which raises the real question. If the truth is usually fine, why do we still reach for the lie first?